don't jump the gun. Let's get into NC State here in the Fighting Dave Dorans. Okay, there's no love lost here between Clemson fans and Dave Doran after Laptop Gate and all that kind of crap that was going on. So it's kind of fun to see them go 4-8 last year. Look, we're talking about hot seat. You may hear an NC State guy here soon when we're talking about what coaches on the hot seat, because I think Doran is. Look, you can say that about a lot of the coaches in the ACC, but I think this is one of the main ones for sure. They went 9-4 in the two previous seasons and went 4-8. That's a huge drop off. It's kind of like you mentioned with the Dungy thing. Is Finley leaves and they drop off the face of the earth. Okay, and by the way, if just in case Dabo was listening under quarantine, I had no doubts that after Deshaun Watson that we were going to continue the dominance because of your plan.
Oh, okay? Here we go.
I trust in Dabo.
Here we go.
So Morgan is the doubter, not me. But back to NC State. They have Devin Leary. He's the incumbent starter, as they announced. Can he maintain that position? I don't know. He went 101 for 110 last year with 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Okay, those are not eye-popping stats or anything like that. They do return Zonovan Knight, who I think is a good running back. I think
we talked a lot about him last year.
Zonovan Knight is a really good running back. We did. Yeah, absolutely. Ricky Person, as a matter of fact, is a former Clemson target. Ricky Person is a guy that I thought was going to end up playing at Clemson at one point. I think we actually moved on and took a commitment from somebody else. I like somebody a little bit better. But Ricky Person's a solid running back too. He had injury problems last year, I believe. So he did have a promising freshman year. I think the running back punch is going to be good for them, which is going to be a huge help to their quarterback. So if Dorn doesn't win, is he gone, man? I think he's going to need like a 6-6 year with a bowl win to stay. I think anything less than that, and he's going to be out of there. But I looked at their out-of-conference games. They're playing Mississippi State, Troy, Delaware, and Liberty. So not a really big-time slate there. Mississippi State is not what they were a couple of years ago. So I don't – and they weren't great then, but they were a pretty solid team. So not a terrible out-of-conference schedule there, but I'm not expecting a ton from NC State this year either.
I mean, I am actually expecting a little bit of a turnaround for NC State. I mean, they're bottom of the barrel already from last year, 1-7 in the ACC, 4-8 overall, 0-5 on the road, lost the last 6 games. We kind of already talked about this. Syracuse was the only ACC win for the Wolfpack. I think they will be able to get it again going into the year. Devin Leary is returning, more experienced. We talked about Zonovan Knight. We liked him. He played great against Clemson. I mean, for like being the only player to actually do something against Clemson. I believe either I named him as player of the game for the opposite team, or I gave him a helmet sticker from the opposite team. Yeah. But, Zonovan Knight, you got to give him some props there. They also return Emeka Emenzi, Devin Carter, Kerry Angeline, who is a great tight end for them. So they do lose one of their best defensive linemen from last year, probably their best defensive lineman, Laurel Murchison. So he's gone, but they're hoping to get 3 guys back from the secondary who had season-ending injuries, I believe, towards the middle of the season, which, is a big problem to have. You get 3 guys that were starters in your secondary down. Normally, you only have about 4 guys on the field anyway, so that's just about your entire secondary right there gone. But, I would say they don't lose as much as Syracuse. They do have to revamp their coaching staff. But the players are still there, really, in my opinion. So Tim Beck is the new offensive coordinator. He comes from Texas. So you got to think there's going to be a little bit more firepower there. Maybe some more running quarterback type stuff, some more Ellinger type stuff, if Leary can do that. Right. Tony Gibson takes over his full-time ownership of defensive coordinator. He was already on staff. He just got promoted. They've got new coaches at safeties, cornerbacks, defensive line, and nickelback.
Yeah.
So 4 new coaches there. Really, we will know very quickly, because out of the gate, which is a terrible out of the gate for them, considering how horrible they were last year. They got Louisville to start the season off, which I believe is a Thursday night game, and then they've got Mississippi State, who's the Mike Leach type guy who's just gonna try to go all over on them. So that's a tough first 2 games out the gate for sure. They do only have an average of 3. I mean, they have their what I would say the average, which is 3 away games before November, and then close out the season, I believe, with 2 away games in November. So the schedule is not really that bad as far as traveling to a bunch of away games, but I really do. I feel like, considering the fact they got a returning quarterback, considering the fact they've got Knight, who is a good running back and a good tight end there, consistent targets for the quarterback, and they're trying to revamp their defense this year. I'm going to give them a better outlook than they had last year. I don't think they finish up last